Hey everyone, I need to pull up chat. So today I am just going to be reviewing some single flavors, I guess, as well as a couple of actual recipes. I mixed these 2 or 3 days ago. Honestly, days have just kind of been melding in together. I took some time off work just for kind of a mental break because work has been really annoying. But yeah, so because I've taken days off, like it's hard for me to remember like what day it is. Anyway, so I'm gonna pop out chat real quick. And just the FYI, if my hair looks wet, it's because it is. I just had a shower about 2 hours ago, and I don't blow dry my hair, so just in case anyone cared, that's what's going on. So I'm going to get into it because otherwise I just talk and ramble. We'll start with the single flavor tests, I think. These are VSO flavors, and these particular ones, well, at least 2 of them are set to launch tomorrow, and then there's 2 that have already been out. The 2 that come out tomorrow are pineapple and coconut, and then we're also going to go over the banana, the pear, and possibly the watermelon. And I'm going to try doing something a little bit different just to kind of switch things up and see if this method of single flavor testing is in any way beneficial. I've never really done this, I don't think, before, at least not as like planned out ahead or whatever. Opening the window a little bit. It is hot as hell in Ohio right now. It's like 85 degrees or something, which I don't know, maybe in some places that's not super hot, but for us, especially in May, it's a bit much, especially considering maybe a week or 2 ago it was in the 50s and 40s. But that's just Ohio. Like, it'll go straight from cold to hot. It's pretty annoying. But anyway, so yeah, I'm like all over the place. So the different way of mixing is basically I made the banana and the pear single flavored at 2%. And what we're going to do is individually add complementary flavors inside the single flavor test after we've tested it. So basically, we're going to take the banana that I mixed at 2%. We're going to taste it just by itself, see how that is, and then build on top of it by adding, I'm going to add the coconut to it and the pineapple to it, because all of these flavors kind of go together, and just see if we can determine how it changes as these flavors are added. It might not be as beneficial as single flavor testing each one individually, but my thing is, number one, I just have so many flavors, and 2, kind of coinciding with that, it would take forever for me to single flavor test every single flavor I have individually at this point. It's just too much. So we're going to see if this is in any way beneficial. Also, a benefit of doing it this way is you'll automatically see how these flavors kind of work with other flavors, because there are flavors out there that taste great by themselves, but then if you try to pair them with other things, they can kind of go off. Like, they don't basically mix well with other flavors. It's not common, but it does happen. And Real Flavors was an example of that for me. I found that a lot of their flavors did not mix well with others. Not all of their flavors, because I have found a couple of theirs that I really like and that seem to do fine with other things. But I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. If it's a dumpster fire, we won't do it again. But I figure it's something a little bit different, and it's a way to test out more flavors in a less amount of time. Or, I don't know. That didn't sound proper English, but you know what I'm saying. Another benefit to this is you're using less base, meaning you're not having to use VG and PG and Nick, which I don't think I put Nick in these just because I am single flavor testing them. But it's a way to like stop wasting so much product, because personally, for the most part, I don't vape single flavor testers after I've gotten my initial idea about them. Unless I feel like it needs to steep, then I'll maybe revisit them. But for the most part, like I mix it up, get like my feelings on it, and then it's done. And it's kind of wasteful, even though, you know, product is not expensive, like PG and VG and Nick and all that kind of stuff. Overall, isn't that expensive, but number one, it's wasteful, and number two, I'm sure it adds up over time, and it's just a lot of product that's going to waste. So this will limit that whole thing. Now, it's not going to always work, because sometimes there's just certain flavor profiles that don't have a lot of like complexity to where you can mix it with other things. But in this instance, I think it might work pretty well. So we're going to start off with the banana, because banana is a thing that is kind of hard to replicate, it seems. Like there aren't many very natural tasting banana flavors out there. It tends to go more on the candied, runt, Laffy Taffy type artificial banana flavor, which is fine, you know, for some things, like if you're doing a candy. But if you're wanting something more natural for like a pie or a pastry or smoothies, something like that, you might not want that artificial candied banana kind of thing going on. All right. I'm just looking at comments. If you comment something and I don't reply to it immediately, it's just because I get very sidetracked and then I forget what I'm doing. But eventually I will, you know, go back if I see anything that needs to be commented on or addressed or whatever. Yeah, the weather in the world is just kind of messed up. Seems like things are backwards. Like it's hotter in places where it's typically not, and then the places where it's usually hotter, it's cooler than usual. But James, this motherboard updates. All right, so this is at 2%, the banana by VSO. These are like all naturally extracted from what I recall, or what to my knowledge, I guess. Smelling the banana, sometimes you can just go by scent and know that it's just going to be like candied banana. It doesn't smell super like artificial. Like the TFA ripe banana, Loran's banana, they smell like very much candy banana. This one doesn't as much. But if you have to, and that's another thing to consider with some of these flavors, is like watermelon and banana are both, at least to me, the actual fruits themselves aren't super flavorful. It's more of like a textural thing. So I imagine nailing that kind of a flavor artificially is difficult. Hi, Blue. You agree? I turn the air on, so if you hear like every now and then something in the background, that's what it is. It's too freaking hot not to have it. I try not to have the air because I don't like air conditioning, but it's just too hot. I'm upstairs. The insulation isn't great up here. On top of the fact that it's just hotter in general when you're upstairs. So not having the air on when it's as hot as it is, like it's about 90 up here. Like it's usually like 5 to 10 degrees hotter up here than it is like outside or anywhere else in the house. So the air had to come on. think we might have to bump this up a bit. I'm getting a very light flavor from it, and that might just be how it is, because like I said, bananas, if they're actually natural, they don't have a whole lot of flavor to them. But so far I'm not getting like an artificial banana. It's definitely more like the, you know, natural actual fruit or berry. Technically bananas are a berry, which is weird. I find like the whole like why can't I say that word? Putting fruits in categories and like vegetables in categories gets confusing, because things that are like fruits aren't fruits, they're actually vegetables, and vice versa. It's really weird. All right. I probably should pull up these percentages and crap. Here's a banana. So it's a 2%. So if we go 0.5% higher, how much more is that? Okay. Yeah, tomatoes a fruit, which I've known that for a while, but it was confusing the first time I heard it. You definitely, at least I don't eat a tomato and think fruit. It's definitely more vegetable to me, but it's more about like, I think it has to do a lot with the seeds. Something with the seeds that categorizes one to the, that's the word. Well, try to say category with ization. I don't even know if that's a word, but for whatever reason, I cannot say that word together. Categorization, something like that. I don't know. My sleep has been real screwed up too. What's new? I was planning on doing this yesterday, but I woke up so late, which, I mean, it still wasn't late for me, but it was late enough to where it was like, eh. Best RDA to test flavors is kind of a loaded question, because it really just depends. I think most people would agree, or most people would say something like the Wasp Nano would be something good for single flavor testing. It has a very reduced chamber, really saturated with flavor. It's small, so you can, because like when I do single flavor testing, I don't wick my RDA all the way through. So like you see this, it's just straight across. So it has something to wick, but it's not going down into the well, because I don't need it to have the residual stuff in the well. I'm not going to use that much e-liquid in it. But when I'm actually doing my all-day vape, which this is the Drop Dead, it does go into the chamber, because I plan on, you know, vaping this all day, and I don't want to have to constantly drip over it. That's kind of getting sidetracked. But I use the Icon just because I have so many of them, and I try to use the same type of RDA for all my testing, because it keeps things consistent. Plus, I find the flavor decent on it. It's not super intense, but I personally don't like that. I'm pretty sensitive to flavors, at least some of them. My whole tasting issue is a whole other thing. But I don't like something super hot, and like something like the Wasp Nano or the Hadley, things like that are just too compact and they get too hot. I don't like hot vapes. I vape pretty low wattage compared to most people. And I think it's just because it's something I've become used to. I've been vaping for a very long time. And back in the day, you didn't have a whole lot of like options and like all the variable wattage and stuff like that. Like variable, why can't I talk today? Variable wattage wasn't a thing when I first started vaping. It came out shortly after, but like there was a point in time where it didn't even exist. It was kind of not a novelty, but it was like very new. But I would say, yeah, for most people, the Wasp Banana would be a good thing. It's cheap. It's well made. Let me see if I can find it. I do have one. The only reason I don't like it is it spits a lot, which is another issue with the more compact RDAs, is if you don't wick them a certain way, or if you overload the juice too much, which I do tend to do, it's very spitty and it hurts, and I hate getting juice in my mouth. Pause. So yeah, it's not something I personally enjoy, but a lot of people like the Wasp Nano, and it's something maybe to look into. And the thing is if you don't like it, it's cheap, so it's not a huge deal. I don't know if I can find it. I really need to organize my RDA thingies. Oh, here's the top cap. So it can give you kind of an idea like how small it is. This is like what's this crap called? God, why can't my brain is just like dead today. I don't know if I even know what the deck looks like because I haven't used it in so long to kind of pair it up. Here's the Tugboat. It's kind of a similar size. This is with the slam cap. So it's roughly about the same size. Yeah. So it's kind of like that size. I don't know where the rest of my, I need to figure that out. I tend to use the same RDAs consistently, so I have a bunch I don't use, and they just go in this little drawer thing. Anyway, something like that. Or like the Hadley, like the clones are supposed to be decent. I think I even have one of those. I think Fresh gave me one for like Christmas or my birthday or something like that. Anyway, so I increased this 0.5%. Let's see if it does anything. I still have kind of segueing back into what I was kind of going on about earlier. I'm still having issues tasting certain flavors, and it seems to be getting worse. I don't know why. Because I still can't taste strawberry. I'll taste it like for like the first couple pulls and then it just disappears. It doesn't really seem to matter what brand of strawberry, but definitely the more sweeter strawberries seem to fade quicker. So that sucks. Closing off the air a little bit. I think I need to pull this off and clean it. That helped a little bit. So yeah, it's just a very light, natural banana flavor. It's not super potent, at least not at 2.5. Maybe if you kept increasing it, it would change. I'm kind of afraid to increase it too much more though, because I don't know. I feel like at a certain point, my stuff just disappears entirely, and I really don't want to deal with that. So now we're going to add the coconut to it. Or maybe we should do pineapple. We'll do pineapple because I feel like coconut for me kind of cuts through a lot. I should have gotten hot water first, but I didn't. If y'all don't know, I use hot water to thin out the VG and make it easier to mix together. I've tried doing it all by hand and just mixing it, like shaking it for like 10 minutes. It just never works for me. Like, I just feel like it's still not mixed enough for me. So that's just what I do. It's kind of, I don't want to say it's controversial, but some people are very against it for whatever reason. I'm not using boiling water by any means. It's just hot water. Heat steeping, which is something people were doing back in the day. I don't recommend that. I don't think it does anything outside of oxidizing nic, which I don't have any nicotine in this, so that part doesn't even matter anyway. But I don't recommend that. But as far as getting the VG thinned out, because I use 2080, so 20 PG 80 VG, which is pretty high. It's just so thick. So if you put it in like a hot water bath situation, it just thins it out and makes it easier to mix together for me. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. But I think I will have to grab that because the shit is just not mixing together. So I'm going to be right back. It's not going to take me that long. And see if I can even... I don't think I can. This whole integrated YouTube thing is something I'm still not used to. I guess I'd probably be more used to it if I used it more often, but that hasn't happened. All right, well, I'll be right back. I'm just using the inside of this crock pot thingy, which I should have actually put together and actually had on hand, but I didn't do that, obviously. But like this metal thing, it keeps like the water really hot. So I'm gonna put that in there. And I think while that's kind of warming up, we'll move on to another flavor. I also mixed up the pear. Now this one isn't like the new release. Like I said, the pineapple and the coconut are coming out tomorrow. But it's like one of the newer flavors. And I haven't tried it yet, so we're going to do that. I'm going to use another icon because, like I said, I try to keep them as consistent as possible. Why isn't my chat updating over there? It's only updating on this screen. That's annoying. This whole time I thought no one was saying anything, and then it's because this thing ain't updating. That's great. Did you change your coils at all? I mean, we're talking, I've had flavor issues for over a year now, so yeah, definitely. I've tried everything I've thought to check or do. I think it's just, might just be how it's going to be now. I don't know. The problem is I've been trying to think, like, pinpoint it, because, like, I've vaped the same flavor or like mixed for months at a time before, and I never had an issue with like muting or losing the ability to taste flavors. I never had that before. It's only been like the last year or two, might even be 2 years ago at this point. Um, and it's getting worse. I think the difference is I vape so much more than I used to. I pretty much chain vape most of the day, and I think it's just kind of exacerbating the issue. I don't know. What I've been doing lately is I try to only do a 30 mil or a couple 30 mils of the same mix, and then I'll change it to something else to keep it more, of a varied flavor profile or whatever. So I'm not vaping the same thing for weeks and weeks and weeks. It seemed to help slightly, but not so much. So maybe I just need to change, instead of just doing a different mix, change the entire profile, like go like tobacco, dessert, whatever. Because I do vape a lot of fruits. Like, that's the thing that I like the most. I'm not a big dessert vapor. It's just too rich for me. I like lighter flavors. I was doing mint for a while, thinking that would help. It did for a minute. I don't know. It's a thing. I don't know that there's going to be a good fix for it. Some people said unflavored. I just can't do unflavored. I can't. But I haven't done tobacco in a while, so I might do that. I actually did mix a tobacco blend for the next part of this video. I need to kind of like speed things up because this is taking too long as usual. But yes, it is Ultim. That's the word I was looking for like 15 minutes ago, and didn't see it because the stupid thing didn't update. So thank you for that. But yes, I get spit back on the wasp. I didn't really get it with the tugboat, but I think it's because I don't know, I think it's just the way that it's laid out. It's not so close to the top cap as the Wasp Nano is. Like, the Wasp Nano is really compact. You have to make sure the coil is a certain way and the wicks are a certain way. And maybe it's just me that has such an issue with it. I don't know. I know plenty of people that love that RDA. And it is good when you can get it at that sweet spot where it's not spitting up everywhere. I just don't have the patience for that. And I also don't like it to be so hot. It's a very warm situation. All right, so this is the pear. The VSO pear, I did it also at 2% just to keep it consistent. It's just easier that way. Okay, so this one I can taste right away. The pear. And yes, I love the drop. The drop is actually right here on a Lumi stand. But I do like the drop dead better. Because, like, I don't know, the airflow's perfect on it the way it is. I thought I wasn't going to like it just because there's no customization of the airflow. That is like one downside to it. But for me, luckily, the airflow is great as it is, so I don't need to change it. But if you definitely, if you didn't like that airflow to begin with, it sucks because there's really nothing you can do about it. So I would definitely have to bump this up. I think it recommends it this on the site 3.5%, if I recall correctly. Probably should have had that pulled up too. But I do get flavor from it. It's pretty light. So yeah, 3.5% is what that's recommended at. So I would need to bump that up to at least 3. I'm gonna say a 3. Probably 3 for both the banana and the pear. It's just light. As far as strawberries, I love real strawberries. It's actually my favorite fruit, so I think that's why I like strawberry vapes, or liked when I could taste them so much, is because it is my favorite real fruit. I actually just had some yesterday. I can taste them fine. Weird thing is, like, I haven't had any issues tasting real foods, which is weird, and I never really understood why that would be. Like, if I'm having so many issues taste, because like there was a point, like the onset of like the first couple times I've gone through this whole thing, where I couldn't taste any flavor at all. Like it completely wiped everything out. But like food wise, I could still taste everything normally. So that part doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know. But yeah, I can taste real strawberries fine. Any other kind of fruit, fine. I have the drop solo as well. If you find that the regular size one is too big, the drop solo should be perfect. So here's the drop solo, and then here's the full size. So you can see the difference between the two. It's a cute little thing. I like it. I just don't use it for single flavor testing because, like I said, I just try to keep the same RDA for everything. But it's a cute little RDA. I like it. Yeah, the pear is good. It's got that little bit of grittiness to it, which is missing in a lot of pears, I find. The problem with pears for me is either they end up being too candy-like or too musky. Because like pears can have like a really kind of musky weirdness to them, like an earthiness, for lack of a better term, but to a bad degree. The pears that I like have a good balance of both. Similar to mango, where you can have like a really candied mango or a mango that's a little bit too funky. I like in the middle. It's like a perfect balance of both notes. I find it more realistic. This pear has a good amount of like the juiciness from like the actual pear flavor, with that little bit of grittiness that comes with an actual pear. So I do like that quite a lot, but like I said, I would bump it up to 3% for me. So you guys would probably at least need the 3.5 I'd recommend. Mind you, my flavor tasting issues could be why I'm not tasting it as I normally would. I don't know. And that's one thing about doing these single flavor testings, or testing, whatever. With my issues I've been having, I don't even know if they're that helpful, which is kind of why I backed off from doing them. The problem is I don't really know what else to do outside of just mixing, I guess. So I don't know. Addie's yogurt's been my all-day vape for years. Addie's yogurt is a good one. I actually just repurchased some Flavor West yogurt because the stuff I have is years old. I'm sure it's not good anymore. C4 is also a great flavor and very compact. I actually have that right there. It's next to the G box. Right there. It's all backwards and crap. It's right there. You probably even can't even see it. I got it when it was on sale, along with a Asmodus. It's not a mech mod, it's regulated, I guess it would be, or unregulated. I think it's unregulated. I don't know. I always get those things confused. Basically, there's circuitry in it, but there's no variable wattage or anything. It just has circuit protection. So, all right, we're going to move on, or move backwards, however you want to put it. We're going to go back to the banana with the pineapple that we added. I only added 0.5% just because it is a complementary flavor. It's not a base flavor. We'll see if that's strong enough. I don't know. We'll find out. Pineapples to me come through pretty well. And they're also something I like eating in real life. I just have to watch how much I eat of them because I do have, it seems like I have a citrus, not allergy, but sensitivity, where I just can't eat a lot of it. It'll literally make my mouth sore. RY4. So you like the airflow better on the solo. I mean, if you look at the airflow, I mean, it's pretty much the same. It's just, I think, missing a row because it's smaller. Actually, it's the exact same. It's just kind of shrunken down a little bit. It's the same kind of configuration. The drop, the full-size one, has more airflow. I like a lot of airflow, even though I don't vape high temperatures or whatever. I still like all airflow. I like a very cool vape. So I actually prefer the air on the drop just because it has more of it, but the solo is fine. The solo is something I would do for desserts or tobaccos because it is a little bit more of a reduced chamber type situation. And that's kind of like what I would go for with that kind of an RDA. The fruits and things that I vape more often, I like a wider space, more area. So at the 0.5%, I do taste the pineapple. It's very light though, so we will have to bump it up a bit. Hopefully I'm catching up on the chat. I don't know why it's not updating. I might have to close it and reopen it again. That's annoying. I don't know why I did that. Maybe because I muted it. I don't know. I don't like looking at myself on the thing. It's weird. So I have the chat over my face. That's why I didn't notice the chat wasn't updating. Anyway, we're gonna add more pineapple to this. We're gonna just do another 0.5%. VSO banana is the first one we did. I don't think you were maybe there. It's very light. It's definitely more real because all of these are extracted from the actual fruits. So yeah, it just tastes like a very light, realistic banana flavor. You'll definitely have to bump it up a bit. It's quite light, but it's good. 0.4. We're adding pineapple to it right now. Right off the bat, I don't know how I feel about this method of doing it. Unfortunately, I think doing them all individually might be the better route to go, which sucks. I was really hoping I'd like this. And my water's already getting cold again. let's look at chat while I'm doing this. Because we still need to add the coconut to it. And then I'm going to move on to the Flavorah book, the recipe book. I mixed up 2 recipes from here. I don't even remember if I got to that part yet because I'm just so all over the place and I don't finish my thoughts and sentences. I mixed 2 recipes up from this book. This came out a while ago. I meant to do a video on it, but it was like I think it was right around the time where the whole Backstreet Boys reunion thing was going on. Maybe it was a little bit before that. But there was just like a lot of stuff going on, and it just kind of kept getting pushed back, and then I lost it at one point. I had it like in a certain spot so I would do it. Then I moved it because I was cleaning. It was just so stupid. I actually have 2 recipes of mine in there. I was supposed to be in the first book, but I missed like the deadline on it, so I didn't end up getting in it. But in this one I am. There's 2 recipes of mine in there, so that's exciting for me. There's a lot of other people in it. Fresh is in there. I think, yeah, Abby Tooney's in there. Concrete Rivers, Slash, Butterscotch Reserve clone. If you haven't tried it, try, if you have it, mixing a butterscotch with a butter toffee, or even maybe a caramel would work, because that's actually a flavor that my dad really likes, and I made a recipe for him that's very similar. And I use Flavor West butterscotch paired with Vape Train butter toffee, or English toffee, something like that. I don't know. I can look up the actual recipe in a minute. I wouldn't say it's a clone because I hadn't even tried that flavor when I mixed it. I was actually trying to clone a different e-juice that's also very similar, called Bearded Number 4 or something like that. For whatever reason, I think all their names are numbered, but it's like a butterscotch RY4 type thing, and it's pretty spot on to it. The weird thing is after adding the pineapple, I'm getting more of the banana. So that's interesting. We're going to add more. So this will be 1.5 pineapple. Yeah, the glass one is definitely sweet, very sweet. And so is the mix I did for my dad. It's a little less. I don't know if glass or Bearded uses sweetener. I imagine, I assume all commercial e-liquids use sweetener. I know not all of them do, but I feel like the majority of them do. So I just assume they do. I don't add sweetener to really any of my juices, especially for my dad. And it has plenty of sweetness already in it. So while I'm shaking this, I'll look at, for some reason I shake better with my right hand than my left, probably because it's my dominant hand. But I can't click with my freaking, whatever. All right, I'm gonna look for that recipe. I don't even know if I have a public. Probably don't. I'm not big on clones. I don't usually intentionally try to clone anything, but it was for my dad, so it's kind of the exception. Because that stuff's expensive, especially how he goes through it. He goes through juice pretty quickly. It was just too much for him. Now, it does require, I forgot about this. It does require a flavor that's kind of hard to get. So I don't know how valuable this will be. Maybe I'll try to clone it without the one flavor, but it is kind of an important flavor. I use the Holy Holy RY4 by Flavor Shack. And they've actually reformulated. The original is not even available anymore. They had to redo it because I guess one of the flavors, if not more, might be one or two flavors, but one for sure, they, I guess, couldn't source anymore. So they had to reformulate it. But that is a big component of the RY4 part of it. You might get away with doing like Flavorah RY4. I don't know. I haven't tried it, so I'd have to maybe try to figure that out. But here is the recipe. Not big on medicine flavors. I know a lot of people like them, and don't get me wrong, they had good flavors. The issue I had with them is they have a very short shelf life and they're expensive. Yeah, so even at the 1.5, it's a pretty light pineapple. So yeah, I don't know if this method of mixing is really great for single flavor testing, because it's not giving me a very accurate depiction of what it's like. We're gonna add the coconut to it just to see what happens, but I won't be redoing this method again. It's just too variable. We're gonna go straight to 1%. It also takes a long time, especially on camera. Like we're already almost 50 minutes in and I haven't even gotten to the, well, the good thing about the mixing part of it, the ones that I've already mixed, I've already been vaping on one of the recipes because I just couldn't wait, because it was like right up my alley as far as profile. Plus I needed something to vape anyway. I was out of the stuff I had made from like my all day vape type thing. So I just tried it and I've been really liking it. So I already know what that tastes like. So I only have to taste the other thing I mixed. So it shouldn't take that long. But I mean, since I only like go live once a month these days, I mean, a long show, it is what it is. Plus my shows typically were long anyway. Oh, you have all of them. That's good. The Holy Holy RY4 is not the easiest thing to get a hold of. I think you can only get it from Flavor Shack directly. Maybe the only other place might be Vapor Supply. They seem to have a lot of obscure flavors. But I think for the best deal, like money-wise, I would definitely go direct, because there's like a 20% off code that you find on ELR for Flavor Shack, so it definitely makes it worth it just to get it directly from them. Oh, that's good. I think the first time I tried it, it was either the RY4 or the vanilla. I actually got it from Chef's, and it was only because I was ordering other things that I couldn't get from the States, and I was like, oh, I've been wanting that flavor for a while, so I'll just grab it. I think I still have that bottle too. But it's a great flavor. It really is. But eventually I would like to find something that's even comparable to that, just in case, for whatever reason, with everything going on, you know, they're not around. Because that's literally all my dad vapes is that. It's 4 flavors, just in case no one clicked the link or whatever. It's Holy Holy RY4, Soho by Flavor Art, Flavor West Butterscotch, and Vape Train. Was it Butter Toffee? Butter Toffee base. I don't think you need both of the butterscotches, but I did it that way and he really liked it, so I just been sticking with it. He's even pickier than I am as far as mixes go. Like, he doesn't like about 80 to 90% of what he tries, so he just tends to stay with the same thing. But I think you could get away with either just doing Flavor West Butterscotch by itself or pairing it with anything among those lines and be okay. Well, the Holy Holy Vanilla is not available anymore either. It was discontinued. So they have a version 2. I don't think I've tried it. I don't know if I have it. I might have it. And then they have like a Holy Resurrection or something like that. I don't know. I think I have one of them. I don't remember which one I have, but I don't think I've tried it. But the Holy Vanilla was good. It kind of took over everything. It was very much a bully. I prefer Inawera Shisha Vanilla because it's a little bit nicer. Like, it plays well with others, whereas the Holy Vanilla, it just dominates over everything. So if you want like a very vanilla forward flavor, it's good. But if you want anything else to stand out on top of it, it can be tricky. But since it's not available anymore, I wouldn't worry about it. I heard the V2 is okay, but I heard the other one was better. I don't know if they ever came out with it though. I was supposed to get it, and it never happened. So, and I had already placed my order because I literally only ordered for them to get the Holy Holy RY4. So it was pointless for me to like make another order. So I just never got around to getting it. It's like something like Resurrection or some weird. Doesn't look like they ever came out with it. I just see the Holy Vanilla version 2. But the other version was supposed to be even better than it is Holy Resurrection. So they do have it. That one's supposed to be the best that they have right now. But I don't know. Maybe next time I buy the RY4, I'll grab that too, if I remember. It might be time to reorder anyway. I always like to have a backup. Because like I said, it's the only thing my dad vapes. So the Holy Holy RY4 B2 is similar to the first one. It's a little less sweet and more tobacco heavy. But even with it being more tobacco heavy, it's still, if a person that doesn't typically vape tobacco were to taste it, I still don't know that they'd even be able to tell it's a tobacco. It's one of those. It's very dessert-like. But yeah, it's still good. I don't know which one I prefer. I might have to do a side-by-side. I don't know if it would be helpful, though, because the version 1 isn't even available anymore. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do it for my own personal thoughts or whatever. So yeah, the coconut definitely can taste at 1%. If I wanted it to fall back a little bit more, I would definitely have to lower it because it is pretty forward. I'm actually getting more coconut than anything. And that's just, I think, me. Like, I can pick out coconut pretty well or very easily. Um, it's okay. It's a coconut. It's not my favorite coconut, but I'm not big on coconut vapes. I like Bounty by Mullenberry. It's like a Mounds bar type thing. It has a little bit of chocolate and then like a creamy coconut filling. I think that's more of the coconut I like is the creamier ones. Um, TFA coconut candy, that kind of thing. Or if I'm going like completely dry, I do the Vape Train desiccated coconut, which is now available at Bull City. Um, it's like one of the new flavors they picked up. So for this is more of like something I would maybe put in a smoothie or some kind of beverage, like a pina colada type thing. It's definitely more kind of like fluid, like a coconut milk type coconut. It's not coconut candy, and it's not like a dried coconut. And to be fair, the only dried coconut I've ever tasted in vape form is the desiccated coconut by Vape Train. I don't know how they managed to do it, but it's definitely like dried coconut flakes. It's pretty remarkable. So there's my thoughts on that. So so far I've liked everything. Just like to review, the banana was the first one I did. It's definitely light for me, at least with the tasting I have right now. Like I said, I've been having tasting issues still. So I don't know if that's the reason, but it's pretty light. I'd have to bump it up to at least 3, and it recommends it at 3.5. The pear is also good. I'd also have to bump that up to about 3.5. It is nice because it has a little bit of the grittiness that you would get from a real pear, along with the juiciness that's inside. So I'm not getting a whole lot of skin from it, which I think most people would like because the skin is where the earthy muskiness kind of comes from. But it definitely doesn't really have much of that. It has more of like the texture grittiness and then the juiciness. So it's kind of like a pulp, I guess. But if you wanted like a muskiness, I don't know why you would want to, but maybe some people would. You can always do like an Inawera pear that has quite a lot of that skin note to it. The pineapple is okay. It's not my favorite. I like my pineapples to be a bit tart, but it's fine. It is what it is. The coconut is okay. It's more like a coconut water or coconut milk type coconut, as I just kind of explained. So of the 4, I definitely would prefer the banana and the pear, just of like this grouping. I might mess with it more. I might do just a single flavor testing of them singularly instead of trying to stack it up. I definitely won't do the stacking up again. It was just something I thought of and thought it might work. I don't really think it does, unfortunately. So I don't know. Moving on. So Flavorah, they came out with this recipe book quite a while ago. I think it was like near the beginning of the year. I have all these little stickers in here because these are recipes that I thought were interesting. So it's something I've been meaning to do for a while. I just never got around to it until recently. So here's one of Fresh's recipes. This is what it looks like. It has like the flavor notes, little pictures on the side, percentages, notes, steep time, all that kind of stuff. And they're all, oof, drop my mod, Flavorah only recipes. So it's only using their stuff. This was another one I thought of mixing, but unfortunately I taped over the girl's name, and when I tried to remove it, even though it's electrical tape, which doesn't tend to like peel off paper, it definitely was doing that. So honestly, I don't know who did this. So that's why I didn't mix it, because I don't know who did it. I think it might be Jersey Girl. I don't know, unfortunately. But yeah, it's super cool. I love this idea. It gives like a little shout out to the people that support them and mix for them. Here's my recipe, my punch. It's a really simple, tasty mix if you're looking for something refreshing for like summertime. It's really beginning to be that time of year. It doesn't need a steep time or anything like that. For this one, you'll probably need to increase percentages on it because I only used Candy Roll at 0.25%, Tropical Punch at 0.75, and Watermelon at 1%. So it's 2% flavor total. So a lot of you will have to increase that, but usually doubling it works for most people. So yeah, it's really cool. Trying to find the one that I mixed. I mixed two different ones. One I've been vaping on for the last day or two. It's really tasty. It's focused on one of my favorite flavors from them, which is acai tea. It's supposed to be like a matcha kind of flavor. It's a little floral to be a matcha, but it's one of the closest matcha flavors I've tried. The only one that's a little bit more authentic to like actual matcha is hard to find, but it's by, God, what is it even called? It's a very obscure brand. And I think you can only buy from them directly. Hylic. Actually, DIY Vapor Supply might have it. But it's the only matcha I've tried that's like spot on, straight up matcha. So yeah, where is that flavor? I marked all of them and then now I can't find it. Oh, Jennifer Jarvis is in here. Here's one of her recipes. It's cake pop. They're just cool. And then they have an index in the back. So if you're looking for like a specific mixer that you want, I think they still did it like that. They did the last one like that. Maybe they didn't do this one like that. It doesn't look like they did. But they have, oh, that's cool. So if you have a specific flavor you want to use of theirs, like jammy berry, it puts like the index of all of the recipes that use jammy berry back there, so you can do it that way. So that's kind of cool. The last one they did, they also did like the mixers, so you could look by mixer. So like if you wanted to mix something from Addie Tooney, it tells you specifically like which ones are. All right, so this is by Staberts. This is the matcha Aisu Kumuru. I can't, I'm sorry. So it's this one. This is the one I've been vaping on for the last couple of days. It uses 1.5% cream, 1% acai tea, 1% smooth vanilla, and 0.2% smooth vanilla. This one I had to have, like slash it in half, but it's really good. It just tastes like a matcha with like a vanilla cream. It's kind of he says it's supposed to be like a vanilla matcha ice cream. I get more of like a vanilla cream, which is not far off from that. If you don't have smooth vanilla or don't like it, I imagine you could probably leave it out because it is very smooth vanilla. As much as I like the flavor, it's another kind of bully. It's very strong, and for me, it cuts through pretty aggressively. So if you don't, and there's a couple people I've met that don't like that flavor. There's just something in it they don't like. I personally love that flavor. It's one of my favorite flavors from them. But if you don't like that flavor or don't have it, it's quite expensive as well. Then I imagine you could probably cut it out. But since I didn't make this recipe, this is Stabert's recipe, only he would be able to tell you whether or not you can truly cut it out. But yeah, it's really tasty. It's 3.7% flavor for me. Like I said, I halved it, so it's even less. But even 3.7% for Flavorah is not too bad. It's pretty simple. and it's really good. So I'm really happy with that one. And then the other one, which I haven't tried yet, is the RY4 using Oriental. I think I've told this story before, but when I met Bryson, he's with Flavorah. I met him in Detroit, and I had done a live show just, like this one, and I had mentioned, I don't remember why, I think someone asked me or it came up somehow. I had mentioned I didn't have the Oriental or the Oriental tobacco from them. And he was nice enough, without me asking anything like that. I didn't even know. He just shows up and hands it to me, like in person. So that was like, they're just like super great people. They're super nice. They're very helpful to the community. They're very supportive. Anytime we've ever had to do or wanted to do a giveaway, whether it be just for like the Mix and Vixens or some kind of charity that we're doing, they're always 100% willing to contribute, and usually very generously. So yeah, they're just like a great company, and that's why, we talk about them quite a lot. Don't really have any complaints. I know some of their flavors are expensive, but just like Fresh said on his show Saturday, some of the flavors are just hard to, like the ingredients are more expensive. And yes, they could dilute it down to make it like more reasonable. Like the rich cinnamon is kind of expensive. The smooth vanilla is expensive, but I don't know. They don't want to. They want them to be concentrated. So that's their choice. I'm trying to find this recipe. I think I put her name on it because I don't know if I can find it. Ashley Gant, Gannt. She did an Oriental RY4 mix. I'll try to find it in a second. I don't know why I'm not finding it. But it's a butterscotch, caramel, Oriental tobacco, smooth vanilla. I didn't know I used smooth vanilla in both. That's interesting. And the vanilla bean. Now, one of the reasons this stood out to me is because it's such a low percentage. It has less than 1% total of flavoring. And if you guys know anything about me, I typically mix pretty low, especially with Flavorah's flavors. Most of them I mix at like 1% or lower. The only exception is like blueberry muffin. I think I have to mix a little bit higher. Flavorah melon, kind of like their older flavors. I have to mix a little bit higher, but for the most part, it's usually 1% or lower. So this really stood out to me, on top of the fact that I haven't really done much with the Oriental tobacco from them. So I figured I would give it a go. I have not tried this yet, so I have no idea what it's going to be like. It's got 0.3% or 0.33% butterscotch, 0.2% caramel, 0.27% Oriental tobacco, 0.07% smooth vanilla. I know that sounds like really low, but you have to bear in mind that's, like I said, smooth vanilla is very, very potent. It's like rich cinnamon kind of potent. Might do this on the tugboat if I can get the stupid cap off. I need to like reorganize my RDAs and crap because they're kind of a mess. I'm getting a short on this, so I guess we're not using that. Might be mixed or wrapped too high. Maybe I'll use my other dead rabbit. I forget, I think I have a bad coil in here though. My throat's starting to get itchy. I'm talking too much. And I don't have anything to drink with me. You might just have to use an icon because I can't find anything else. It's like ready to go. And for the icons, just in case you were wondering, or for really any RDAs I use, I always use the Lightning Vapes Clapton coils. I don't remember exactly which ones, but it's like I think it's a dual 26 Canthal 28, like uh, like a dual core with like a 28 gauge around it, something like that. I don't know. I'm not a builder. I buy them in a big spool, wrap it around a screwdriver or one of those little bit thingies, like 4 times, and they almost are all identical as far as like the resistance and everything. So I just find that the easiest thing to do. And again, it's consistent. And I'm like way behind in the chat again because I'm trying to do all this stuff. So it's cold somewhere. I'm guessing in Australia it's cold. Never seen snow. Count yourself lucky. Like, it might look pretty, but it's a pain in the ass. Gotta shovel it. You get stuck in it. It's terrible. Honestly, I'd be fine never seeing snow, like, in person. How does Oriental compare to the other tobaccos? Oriental tobaccos, and mind you, I've never actually had like the actual cigarettes from like over there, but I think they're more like 555s. If you've ever had like a 555 flavor, where it's like a little bit lighter, like brighter, sometimes citrusy. It's kind of hard to describe, but like if you're thinking about light and dark flavors, it's on the lighter side. So it's like the Vienna cream compared to a whipped cream. Vienna cream is the darker cream. Whipped cream is like the lighter, brighter cream. I don't know if that like explained it in any way that's like understandable. They also tend to be a bit nuttier, like woodsier. I don't know. I'm not good at explaining different types of blends of tobaccos. But it definitely tastes different than all of their other ones. I did enjoy it. I don't remember if I put notes on it. I'm bad at doing notes. My nose is itching now. Where'd the top cap go? Oh my god, I'm losing my mind. Did I even grab it? I think I did. That's another good thing about using an RDA you have so many of, is if you can't find the exact top cap, you just grab one of the other 5. And there you go. Alright, so this is the Oriental RY4 by Ashley Gant. No, it's not like Native at all. Native has a very, if I recall correctly, that's the one that kind of has like an incense kind of flavor to it, like a sandalwood or something like that. Which, mind you, I like Native, but no, it doesn't taste anything like Native. I actually had or have RJ4. I'm not big on RY4s, to be honest. Most of our RY4s I don't like. The only exception is I have found that I do like Flavor Arts RY4 at a low percentage mixed with other stuff. And the Holy Holy I do like, and that's about it. So for this one, the RY, or the Oriental, I definitely get more of that than anything else, which makes sense if it's a tobacco type of mix. You might want that to be forward, but for someone that's looking for a more desserty, where you kind of almost can't even tell it's a tobacco blend, you might not like this because it doesn't really hide the Oriental very well. At least not for me. I'm still trying to find her. Did I even mark it? Maybe that's why. Actually, the smarter thing would do just look for Oriental. Oh, maybe not. Let's look at smooth vanilla. Does it have a lot of them in there? Yep. Okay, well, that ain't the smarter way to go then. But anyway, it doesn't hide the tobacco well. Well, here it is. So I didn't mark it. That's why I couldn't find it. So this is, she describes it as a light, sweet dessert tobacco, ready to vape right away or give it a few days, which it's been, I think I did it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's about 2 or 3 days. It's supposed to be light, sweet, and desserty with tobacco nuances. So yeah, here's the recipe. Like I said, less than 1% of flavor. I will say it's not lacking on flavor by any means. I just get more of the Oriental tobacco than anything else. So if you don't like that flavor for whatever reason, you won't like this, because you can definitely taste it, or at least I can definitely taste it in it. I'm going to try cutting down the air a little bit, because it's pretty open. See if that helps get some of the other flavor notes out of it. If I can turn it, these O-rings like to freaking stick for me. And then I will be going, because I've been doing this for quite a while, and I need to get some beverage. I should have had water ready, but I kind of did this very spur of the moment. I was planning on doing it tomorrow, but because I tried calling my grandma, because I haven't called her in a while, and we usually talk for quite a bit. So it was either I was going to talk to her or do a live stream, and then do whichever one I didn't do tomorrow. It was like one or the other, because I know I'm going to be talking for over an hour either way. So when she didn't answer, I was like, okay, I guess we're going live. Yeah, so if you choke off some of the air, you definitely get more of the dessert notes in it. That's a lazy way to do it. If you can't like turn the thing because the O-ring gets stuck, just cover it up with your finger. Maybe not a good all-day vape kind of solution, but if you're testing, I mean, it works. Yeah, so actually with the less airflow, it tastes better. I get more of the butterscotch caramel, and it actually has a really nice flavor to it with the butterscotch caramel and the vanilla beans. Because if you've never had Flavorah vanilla bean, it's a really nice flavor. It pretty much tastes like if you've ever had like vanilla ice cream with the real vanilla beans in it, or anything with like a real vanilla bean paste. Because like, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, because I hadn't prior to finding out about it, which wasn't that long ago, maybe 5-6 years ago, and I've been cooking and baking since I was a teen. But there's, instead of like vanilla bean extract, there's actually a vanilla bean paste, and it's just like thicker, more concentrated. It actually tastes better. It's just harder to find. It's a little bit more expensive. It tastes like that paste. It's very strong vanilla bean note, but it definitely tastes different than like really any other vanilla I've tried. It just tastes like the bean. So it's very nice in ice cream. Like Fresh talked about it on Saturday's show. It's something I've used to make my own vanilla ice cream, because I can't do a lot of the vanilla ice cream flavors, because I am one of those people that gets pepper from certain vanillas, like TFA vanilla bean ice cream, I get pepper from. Their white chocolate, I get pepper from. So I have to watch the vanillas that I use. But vanilla bean's a really nice one. So that paired with the butterscotch and the caramel makes a nice creamy like vanilla caramel flavor. It's really good. So yeah, if you mix this one up, I definitely recommend closing off some of your air if you like it wide open, or use like a more compact RDA, similar to like the Tugboat or the Drop Solo, something, you know, a little bit more compact to really get the dessert notes from it. Because if you use it wide open like I typically do, all I really tasted was the Oriental tobacco. So yeah, it's really good though. I like it, and I like that it's such a low percentage. I actually might mix this up so I have something after I'm done with the, this is what I have left of the matcha one, and this was full just from a couple days ago. So I've been vaping on that quite a bit. So yeah, I like both of these. Check them out if you want. I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, I've been talking forever, but check out the VSOs. So far, the ones I've liked the best are the strawberries, really good. The blueberries, really good. I liked the banana if you're looking for like a more authentic banana, not candied. The pear is also good. And what's the other one I liked? There was like one other one I really liked. I don't know. But I mean, those are enough to get you started. I've also heard good things about the peach. I heard the peach is good, and the red raspberry. I think Lumi really likes that one. So yeah, check them out. Support them. If you want merch, I do have T-shirts at Vaping Swag. Fresh has shirts on there. Addie Tooney, Lumi, Emily or ML Nikon has shirts there. All of the extra like proceeds, whatnot, go to vaping advocacy. We have flavor shots, one shots at Jungle Flavor, or what do they call them now? Flavor Jungle. Used to be ECX. They changed their name. My Waterbury Breeze, I believe, is still on there. Emily's Peach Cheesecake is still there. And Jennifer Jarvis's breakfast cereal is still there. E-Juice Fairy Jen, her stuff is still not available. She has to remix something else, and she's still working on that. So hers was sold out, but all the other ones are still there. Other than that, I'm going to get out of here. Happy Memorial Day. Hopefully you guys have the day off. If not, I'm sorry. Try to hang in there. Stay positive. Wash your hands. All that good stuff. But I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.